Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to provide an update on the operation of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, or RBF as commonly known, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, central banks play a vital role in any economy. While the institutional arrangements may vary from country to country, predominantly the core role of the central bank is ensuring monetary and financial stability. Madam Speaker, a renowned and acclaimed central bank governor once aptly described the purpose and importance of the central bank by saying, and I quote, "The central bank can be described as a high-impact organization. Its decisions or indecisions, its action or inaction will have major repercussions, and consequences on the economic well-being of the public at large and the entire spectrum of businesses. The reason why a central bank exists is for the people. That is the ultimate objective." Unquote. Given the immense responsibilities, the role and governance arrangements of central banks are enshrined and protected by law, Madam Speaker. Our central bank, Madam Speaker, was established under the Reserve Bank of Fiji Act 1983, or the RBF Act. The primary objectives and institutional arrangements of the RBF are also enshrined in the Constitution, reflecting its significant importance as a policy-making institution in Fiji. Madam Speaker, we have provided to the honourable members in our last sitting an update on the performance and outlook of the Fijian economy and government's fiscal position. May I highlight once again that the country's impressive economic performance has been largely attributed to the various well-designed policies and reforms introduced by the Bainimarama and the Fiji First governments. Madam Speaker, we are on track for the 9th consecutive year of economic growth, unprecedented since post-independence. The economy on average, Madam Speaker, has grown by 4.6% in the last 5 years, excluding the 0.4% GDP growth in the 2016 post-TC Winston. This is real GDP growth, Madam Speaker, and this has been validated by organizations, Madam Speaker, like the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and credit rating agencies like Moody's. With this buoyant performance in our economy, Madam Speaker, nominal GDP per person in 2017 rose to $12,000, almost doubling from $6,419 in 2006. Real GDP per capita reached its highest ever level at around $8,000 last year. Madam Speaker, the growth forecast for this year and the next 2 years is currently under review and will take into consideration the impact of the recent cyclones and floods and other developments. The RBF, Madam Speaker, contributes directly to the unprecedented economic growth the country has experienced by ensuring that monetary policy objectives remain intact, in coordinated with fiscal policy, and there is financial stability in the country. Madam Speaker, in conducting monetary policy, the RBF's dual monetary policy objectives are stable inflation or price stability and adequate foreign reserves or external stability. Since November 2010, the RBF has maintained an accommodative monetary policy stance in support of economic growth as its twin objectives were intact. As a result, Madam Speaker, average lending rates have declined to historically low levels, from a high of 9.84% in 2007 to 5.64% in January 2018. Commercial bank loans and advances increased more than twofold to $6.5 billion as accommodative monetary conditions actively supported lending and increased economic activity. Notwithstanding the unprecedented period of economic growth the country is experiencing, Madam Speaker, the RBF continues to be vigilant on economic developments and will align policy accordingly, guided by the RBF board. Madam Speaker, this vigilance is embedded in the role that the RBF plays. As the former Vice Chair of the US Federal Reserve stated, and I quote, "The job of the central bank is to worry. In prosperity, the central bank worries about sustainability, and in times of depressed conditions, a central bank worries about stimulating growth." On the objective of stable inflation, Madam Speaker, defined as within the range of 2 to 3% per annum, the inflation rate was 2.3% in February 2018. The current forecast for year-end inflation is expected to be around an acceptable level of 3%. The main risks to this forecast, Madam Speaker, are the impact of the recent floods, any further adverse weather conditions, and to a lesser extent, higher global growth feeding into oil. You can see what's happening in Syria, food prices, and a strengthening US dollar. Madam Speaker, in terms of external stability, foreign reserves stood at around $2.175 billion as at 13 April 2018, sufficient to cover 4.9 months of retained imports of goods and non-factor services. This is well above the International Monetary Fund's recommended benchmark. Given the vulnerability of a small, open economy like Fiji to risks such as external shocks and natural disasters, the RBF has consciously built buffers above the recommended benchmark. It is also worth noting, Madam Speaker, that approximately $680 million of additional and callable foreign reserves are held by non-bank financial institutions. Madam Speaker, as highlighted in the ministerial statement we provided last month on the Financial Stability Sector Review, or the FSSR, for Fiji that was conducted by the IMF, the role of the RBF in ensuring financial stability remains intact. Recommendations, however, have been made by the FSSR mission on enhancing the supervisory role of the RBF going forward. Madam Speaker, government is committed to continuing to reform the financial sector. Reforms are needed when an economy grows and the financial system deepens and the sophistication of consumers increase. Reforms are important to ensure that risks to the stability of the financial system continue to be identified and mitigated. Our commitment in undertaking such reform actions is underscored by the completion of the Fiji National Provident Fund reform. Having Madam Speaker, successive past governments neither had the political will nor the moral persuasion to implement. This reform alone has averted a financial crisis in the future, as the collapse of an institution that constitutes, Madam Speaker, a third of the financial system would have easily brought our country to its knees. The RBF continues to formulate and implement strategic plans on other financial sector reforms, including the setup of a new and improved credit bureau, as highlighted earlier on, or credit reporting agency, a reform of the credit union sector, implementation of movable asset registry, and reviewing the Fiji Insurance Act. Madam Speaker, recent trends have observed the expansion of the traditional role of central banks of ensuring monetary and financial stability. Most central banks also contribute to objective and initiatives ancillary to its core role, or particularly to address specific capacity or resource constraints. Examples, Madam Speaker, include a mandate for financial inclusion, special lending facilities, and targeting other macroeconomic indicators such as the unemployment rate or economic growth to guide monetary and financial stability policy settings. It is important to note and ensure that this development role contributes to the core objectives of the central bank. The RBF's expanded role in the economy is guided by a specific mission statement under its vision of leading Fiji to economic success. For the information of the honourable members, these initiatives include, firstly, the financial inclusion. Madam Speaker, while a large part of the bank's financial inclusion work initially focused on microfinance, small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, promotion in reducing the unbanked population gap, more recent efforts have expanded to include improving financial literacy, sustainable financing, promoting financial technology, which is under FinTech, and digital financial services. Extending well-designed financial services in a responsible and sustainable way to the poor and the underserved has been universally recognized as a key enabler to reducing extreme poverty and boosting shared prosperity. Enabling financial inclusion, Madam Speaker, contributes directly to 7 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The government and the RBF will continue to enhance financial inclusion strategies, and this includes improving data collection and championing the design of financial products to meet the needs of the underserved. The RBF, Madam Speaker, is also working closely with the Ministry of Economy, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism in terms of MSME development and charting a sustainable banking roadmap. The other area, Madam Speaker, is special lending facilities. Madam Speaker, the RBF maintains a special lending facility to address specific priority areas. These facilities include the National Disaster Recovery Facilities, which was reactivated recently following the recent floods. import and export substitution, and the housing facility introduced to help address housing affordability. Funds from these special facilities are only disbursed through participating financial institutions that also bear the credit risk and must on-lend the funds at concessional interest rates. In total, 978 applications have been processed under these facilities, and the current outstanding balance stands at $124.1 million. The other area, Madam Speaker, is the SME Credit Guarantee Scheme. The RBF, Madam Speaker, also administers the government's Small Medium Enterprise Credit Guarantee Scheme to assist with the accessibility of credit. At the end of February 2018, 1,725 SME loans valued at $100.5 million were registered under the scheme. The total allocation for claims under the scheme is $4 million, of which 0.041 has been utilized. In other words, it's run very, very successfully, and very, very little number of people are defaulting. The Green Bond Collaboration, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, honourable members have also been appraised of the country's green bond issue. The RBF team, headed by the Governor, spearheaded the efforts to issue our first green bond. A steering committee, including RBF, representatives from government, IFC and the World Bank, are continuing to work to ensure the commitments and accountabilities required are met. In recognition of our efficient process from conceptualization to issue, the IFC released a report titled Guidance for Sovereign Green Bond Issuers, which focuses on lessons from Fiji as the first emerging economy to issue a sovereign green bond, and indeed, Madam Speaker, we are the only third sovereign to do so. In addition, Madam Speaker, Fiji was only recently awarded in London a prestigious Green Bond Pioneer Award at the recent Climate Bonds Initiatives Conference in London. Fiji's green bond is also being listed on the international securities market of the London Stock Exchange, Madam Speaker, a first for any Fijian bonds to be listed on the London Stock Exchange. It is, of course, Madam Speaker, a remarkable recognition and achievement, and indeed our Honourable Prime Minister will have the opportunity to open the London Stock Exchange at 8 AM London time with the green bond. Madam Speaker, financial intelligence. Madam Speaker, the Financial Intelligence Unit, as highlighted yesterday, is established under the Financial Transaction Reporting Act 2004, which also mandates its role and functions. The FIU is Fiji's anti-money laundering agency, or AML, in combating the financing of terrorism, or the CFT regulator, and the lead agency, Madam Speaker, on AML CFT policy formulation, compliance and enforcement in Fiji. Since its established in 2006, Madam Speaker, the FIU has been fully funded and housed at the Reserve Bank of Fiji. The annual operating expenditure of the FIU is approximately $1 million. The RBF also provides rent-free office space and shares HR, IT, accounting and audit services with the FIU. The director of the FIU is appointed by the RBF Governor on the recommendation of the National Anti-Money Laundering Council. The FIU was operationally independent, as the powers of the FIU are vested on the director, who reports to the RBF Governor in the performance of his or her functions. Madam Speaker, let me now move on to currency issue. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Section 4A of the RBF Act, the bank has a core responsibility with regulating the issue of currency in Fiji. The bank is responsible for maintaining an adequate supply of quality notes and coins in circulation. It issues notes and coins that are commensurate with demand for payment purposes, and redeems any notes or coins that are mutilated or no longer fit for circulation, and destroys them accordingly. The bank also, Madam Speaker, determines the denomination and design of Fiji's notes and coins, subject to the approval of the Minister for Economy. Madam Speaker, we wish to highlight that the volume of counterfeit notes reported during the financial year ending 31 July 2017 remained negligible, as has been the case for the previous years. Counterfeit notes, Madam Speaker, continue to be less than 0.1% of the value of total currency in circulation, which implies that the anti-counterfeiting security features that the bank has invested in are effective. Madam Speaker, over the last 10 years, our currency in circulation has grown almost twofold and currently stands at $818.9 million as at 13 April of this year. This is very much in line with the growth in the financial system alluded to earlier on, Madam Speaker. I come on to now, Madam Speaker, human capital. Madam Speaker, one of the RBF's stated missions is to ensure it attracts, develops and retains staff to effectively contribute to the delivery of its vision of, and I quote, leading Fiji to economic success, unquote. A cornerstone of this retention policy is remunerating staff at a premium above the assessed market median for a given staff position or grade. In terms of gender diversity, RBF has a total of 213 staff, of which 100 or 47% are female. At the management level, 44% are females, 5 of which are in the senior management team, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the RBF is an organization that values and cultivates a high-performance culture. Risk management and communications, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the RBF also ensures a proactive approach to the safety of its operations through the establishment of its risk management framework. This framework provides oversight of its compliance to relevant legislative requirements and internal policies, as well as the promotion of good governance and corporate responsibility. The institution, Madam Speaker, also maintains a business continuity plan which includes a fully functional business resumption site, or BRS, to provide backup for critical operations during a disaster or crisis. In terms of ensuring effective awareness of its roles and activities, Madam Speaker, the RBF publishes a number of annual reports on its operations, on the insurance industry, financial system stability, financial inclusion, and on the operations, of course, on the Financial Intelligence Unit, which we heard yesterday. Madam Speaker, regular economic and statistical reports are also published by the RBF, including quarterly and monthly reviews, press releases and monetary policy statements, which are vital sources of information for policy-making agencies in Fiji and indeed the private sector and the general public. All these publications are posted on the RBF website, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to conclude by highlighting the financial performance of the RBF. The objective of any central bank, Madam Speaker, is not to maximize profit. However, making losses is also not acceptable. As an important policy-making institution, financial losses often results in reputational. The objective of any central bank is not to maximize profit. However, making losses is also not acceptable. As an important policy-making institution, financial losses often results in reputational risk, which then translates into loss of confidence from the bank's key stakeholders. Madam Speaker, for the financial year ended 31 July 2017, the bank made a profit of $28.3 million and transferred to government a total of $29.4 million, which included 1/5 or $2.1 million of the revaluation reserve account. Of the $28.3 million in profits, Madam Speaker, the bank transferred $1 million to the general reserve account to strengthen the bank's capital base. In the last 10 years, Madam Speaker, the bank has transferred to the government a total of $347.93 million, which included the profit and 1/5 of the revaluation reserve account. Madam Speaker, I wish to commend the bank for signing off on its annual audited financial statements for the 12 months ending 31 July 2017 on 28 September 2017, or within 2 months after the end of the financial year. Over the last 3 years, the bank has signed off on its annual audited financial statements within 2 months after the end of its financial year. This reflects the commitment to accountability and transparency as a public institution. Madam Speaker, the RBF, as Fiji's central bank, maintains a unique yet significant role in the management of the Fijian economy. For a developing country like Fiji, where it is important that the promotion of growth needs to be balanced with stability, the RBF will continue to be vigilant in the protection of its mandate to ensure sustained economic growth and the continued improvement of the quality of the lives of all Fijians, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.